In this project, you will learn many different events that happened throughout history, such as the War of Conquest, the 7 Years' War, the Treaty of Paris, and about Pontiac and his revolt. All of these events are portrayed using Minecraft. Enjoy. This started in 1754, breaking out in North America between the French and the British. The War of Conquest was a British military conquest of New France during the 7 Years' War. The conquest was undertaken by British as a campaign in 1758. It was over by 1760, but the 7 Years' War continued. This started in 1756. The war spread to Europe, West Indies, Africa, and Asia. The French and British were fighting each other all over the world for gaining territory. The war provided Great Britain a lot of territorial gains in North America, but disputes over upcoming frontier policy and paying the war's expenses led to colonial discontent and ultimately led to the American Revolution. This started on February 10, 1763. The Treaty of Paris marked the end of the 7 Years' War and officially signed over the victory to Great Britain. The treaty also aimed for the British to recognize the rights of the Canadians. This included their right to own and hold property, and for those who wish to leave, have 18 months to leave the colony. The condition imposed on those leaving is that their property within the colony had to be sold to a British subject and not to another Canadian. The territory of New France was signed off to the British with the expectation of a small part near the Mississippi River. France kept the islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon, and the right to fish near the shores of Newfoundland. Florida, which was Spanish, was given to Great Britain as well. When the Treaty of Paris was signed, the First Nations people were worried about having to find their relations with the British. The French outlined the relationship they had with the First Nations. However, General Amherst made changes, ending the provision of weapons and selling alcohol. He also made new rules for the fur trade. This made it harder for the indigenous peoples to make profit and participate in the trade. The British were making it clear who was in charge, and the expectation they had for the First Nation peoples to be subjects and not allies. The British ruled over everyone and was equal to no one. By 1764, many of the First Nations communities had decided to make peace with the British. By 1766, Pontiac agreed to sign a peace treaty with Great Britain, and the revolt came to a close. One of the issues that sparked at the end of the revolt, however, was the introduction of smallpox. Smallpox had been a big issue in the First Nations communities before. However, the difference in this situation is that it is strongly believed that General Amherst gave the indigenous communities blankets that he knew had been in contact with the disease. It was referred to as the Gern Warfare.